one big unanswered question tonight. What could the president possibly be thinking? And is there an end game here? Off on his Christmas trip to Florida, leaving behind a vetoed defense spending bill with threats to do the same to COVID relief and government funding. Also 2 days of controversial pardons, leaving the rest of Washington, especially his own party, holding the bag. You just heard Rick Santorum say that Donald Trump is not doing anybody any favors. Perspective now from someone who knows how the president operates, Tony Schwartz, who co-wrote Donald Trump's The Art of the Deal. He also wrote Dealing with the Devil, My Mother, Trump, and Me. So, Tony, thanks so much for being with us tonight. What do you make of this? What's your takeaway from these pardons of the president's friends, his associates, family? What do you think?
Well, I think he's determined the Trump modus operandi is, particularly under these circumstances, is maintain dominance in any way I possibly can and make other people suffer more than even I am suffering. So all this is consistent with it. I think this is exactly the scenario that I foresaw in the fall of 2016, just before his election. At that time, I thought he was going to lose. But even then, my assumption was that he would never acknowledge it, that he would do everything possible to mobilize opinion against it, and that he would do whatever he could to cause a destruction. I don't believe Donald Trump has a moment's interest in $2,000 for every American. Donald Trump doesn't care about any American. So the idea that he would suddenly care about giving them $2,000 when he's allowed hundreds of thousands of Americans to die on his watch is preposterous. He's doing it because he wants to show he's powerful. He wants to show he can still step in and blow it all up.
Is there a plan? What is the plan, do you think, if such a thing exists?
Well, Donald Trump's long-term plans are, I would say 5 to 10 minutes ahead of the present moment. So no, I don't think that he has, first of all, he doesn't think clearly. He doesn't think in a rational and logical way. So no, I don't believe he has a plan. I do believe he has a bunch of ideas and they're swirling in his head. But mostly, John, what he's feeling right now is rage, white hot rage, because he feels obliterated by this. Everywhere he looks, even sometimes on his own, among his previous allies, he's hearing failure, failure, loser, loser. I think he's beside himself. He's like King Lear, he's furious to the point of madness.
Is there any part of him that accepts responsibility for being a loser? And by that, I mean someone who lost the election. By that, I mean a one-term president.
No, there is no part of him that accepts that. There is a part of him now that recognizes that short of, blasting with guns to try to save himself, he's going to have to leave the White House on January 20th. But there is no part of him that believes it is fair. He has told himself this story. And anyone who disagrees with this story, including his closest allies, I mean, we're talking people like Bill Barr, who were there for him in every moment. Now he sees Bill Barr as an enemy. And so anybody is an enemy who will not support the fantasy that he's bought himself into. And the reason is because to acknowledge that he is lost is to acknowledge that he's a loser, and that is obliterating. That really makes him feel as if he doesn't exist. He's almost dead when he calls himself a loser.
If anyone surrounding him wanted to do anything to make the situation better, to stop him from doing some of these things, could they? I mean, what could someone do if they wanted to, quote unquote, save the country? And I'm not suggesting that's what's necessarily at stake here, but if they wanted to steer this in a different direction, could they stand up to him?
Invoke the 25th Amendment. I mean, what was the 25th Amendment made for but to deal with a situation in which a president is completely incapacitated? There's so much evidence that he is incapacitated. He's mentally incapacitated. He's not functioning as president. He's taking criminals and giving them pardons, and he will continue I don't agree with one of your previous guests who said, no, I don't think he'll, I don't think he'll do anything. Or maybe that person didn't say exactly this, but I don't think he'll do something terrible beyond this. Yes, he will. He will. We're not done. Anything he can think of to do that will allow him to continue to feel dominant, he will continue to do. So the 25th Amendment would be one way. It's problematic this
Yeah.
close to the end of the election, but I don't think, short of a straitjacket, there's anything that even the people closest to him could do. Jared Kushner's thousands and thousands of miles away because he doesn't want to be in his
Hmm.
line of fire. So if Kushner doesn't want to be there and Ivanka doesn't want to be there, who does?
Tony Schwartz, I appreciate you being with us tonight. Thank you very much.